already created two servers. I tag as given master and another server as a node. So now I will log in into this server. I will install Kubernetes. So I will copy this, open git bash. Right. Yes. I will go to my class now. So I will click on Kubernetes. Kubernetes day 2. This is a shell script to install Kubernetes. So first I will install Docker. Right, using curl command I will download the script file to install Docker. Then after I will run this shell script. Then automatically Docker will be installed. Right, Ubuntu user will not have permissions to execute Docker commands. That's the reason I need to modify that user. Right, sudo user mod -ag Docker Ubuntu nothing but I am adding Ubuntu into the Docker group so that whatever Docker commands will be there, everything can able to get to the Ubuntu user. Then after you need to have a Cryo Docker D. Now if you see Docker versus right, Docker versus Containerd versus Cryo. So Containerd handles container execution and management, leaving out some higher level features in Docker. However,
Hello, Pawan, I can't hear you. Aziz.
sorry.
Hello. Oh, I can't hear you. There is a lot of disturbance.
Your voice is breaking.
Not clear.
Headset. Let me attach it. Now you will not get any disturbance. I forget to attach the headset. Now is it okay?
Yeah. Yeah, fine. No, fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for reminding. Okay, Docker versus Cryo. So what is Cryo? Cryo is an implementation of Kubernetes container runtime interface to enable using Open Container Initiative compatible runtime. Nothing but in the Kubernetes there is a container runtime, right? Using that container runtime you can able to run your container. So Cryo Docker D is just a platform. It will give you a platform to run your containers. Okay, Docker also have their own platform called as Containerd, which is created by Docker, which Docker will use for running their containers. In the same way, Cryo is also one type of platform to run the container itself. Containerd was created by Docker. Cryo was created by Red Hat. That's it. I already posted in the yesterday in the group, right? So why use Containerd?
Yes.
So that's it. So that's the reason we are using Cryo Docker D. With this, it will provide a platform to create your containers. That's it. So after installing Cryo Docker D, you need to install some app transport, CA certificates and curl. Then after, you need to download Kubernetes GPG file. Then after, you need to add Kubernetes related information into the apt/repo etc/apt/sources.list, because Kubernetes is a third party software. In the apt manager, Kubernetes doesn't have any information. So that's the reason you need to provide that information, echo deb, right? You need to add that information in the etc apt sources.list. So if you don't understand what is this package manager and all. I will update a video on my channel, so you can watch it, then you will understand. Right, then after you have to update the packages, then after you have to install kubectl, kubedem, right? That's it. Now I will copy this. Okay, I will go as a root user, it will be better. Okay, I will log in again, it is logged out. Sudo -i, I will log in again. Okay, I will create one file, vi k8s.sh, insert mode, paste. I will blindly sh run this file. Okay, it will take some time for installing. So why we need to waste our time? Shall I log into another server and I will install the same thing in that server as well? Okay, because on the two servers we need to install. So ignore this, this is not needed. I have divided, this steps was divided here. Do you getting my point? This steps was divided. For installing Docker, these are the steps. For installing cryo.docker, I have given official documentation link. Right? This you can skip this. Then after I have Kubernetes installation also, I have divided as a separate step. You can ignore all this. Just blindly copy this, create a file and install. Now let it run. Okay, so it was completed. Super, we are lucky. Now after next, what we need to do? Now create the cluster from the master node. Use the command. So you need to give the cryo socket. Why we need to give the cryo socket? Kubernetes will identify that and it will take that as a platform to run your container. That's it. Enter. So it will also take some time. So to create a Kubernetes cluster, it will take some time. Once it is get successful, your Kubernetes master server will be ready. Okay, once it is ready, it will throw you some output. You need to follow that. So if you see, this can take up to 4 minutes 0 seconds. Let it complete. Super. So your Kubernetes control plane initialized successfully. To start using your cluster, you need to run the following as a regular user. I am as a root user. So I will simply execute exit. I am back as a Ubuntu user. So it is telling to create some .cube file. Okay, I have created the .cube file, and it is telling to copy the /etc Kubernetes. There is a configuration file. Try to copy that configuration into a .cube/config. I told you, right? In Kubernetes there is a .cube config will be there. Inside that, cluster related information will be present. Okay. Alternatively, if you are root user, you can run this. No, we are a just normal user, you can skip this. You should now deploy a pod network to the cluster. Okay, now if I execute kubectl get nodes, what? Not ready. You are getting control plane, nothing but master, status is not ready. Because whenever you deploy a created Kubernetes cluster, you will get a cluster, but your cluster will not have any network. Right now in the starting, if you see, you remind me that there is lot of disturbance, I'm not getting audio, right? Then after I've attached a plugin so that you can able to hear voice perfectly. In the same way, once you set up the Kubernetes, it's okay, but networking will not be enabled. In order to enable that network, there will be some driver, right? You need to utilize that driver so that networking will be enabled automatically. So in order to do that, let me show you that. So this is CNI, container network interface. So Docker container for networking have a standard container network model. So container network interface is another standard which also speaks about networking in container runtimes. So I told you, right, CNI plugins implement networking functionalities. In the case of Kubernetes, networking is implemented by CNI, and we have an option to choose CNI plugin in bare metal installation. So CNI plugin help kubeproxy to give unique IP address to every pod in Kubernetes cluster. And there are multiple companies are available to provide these plugins. There is a ViewNet, there is a Flannel, there is a Calico, right? Flannel is the best one, and it's a most commonly used plugin, like container interface plugin for the cluster. Okay, you need to execute not this. Yeah, install Flannel on master node, right? I will execute this. Okay, now I will run kubectl get nodes. Not ready. Again, not ready. Again, not ready. Because this networking implementation will take some time. Not ready. Not ready. Not ready. Then it will see magic. It's ready or not. By using that simple plugin, networking interface will be enabled for the Kubernetes cluster, and it's a mandatory. Okay, now what I will do, I will log into node. Okay, this job was done, right? After that, you need to copy this join token. Okay, this is very important. I will copy this join token, open notepad, save. Okay, now what I will do, I will log into the node, git bash, enter, yes, sudo -i vi k8s.sh. I have right. Normally, this Kubernetes cluster will take nearly 30 to 40 minutes. Even if you join some institutes, right, they will waste your time for installation itself. But I have made your job simple, right? I have written shell script. You just need to focus on learning, not on the installation, because in companies already setup was there. What is the use of learning installation? You need to learn the concepts. So that's the reason I am not wasting your time on installation. As it is first class, I am showing the installation, right? You need to run just shell script. That's it. Automatically Kubernetes will be installed. After shell script was running, what I have done, I have executed kubeadm init, right? I have given the pod network CIDR ranges and cryo socket. After that, it has generated some output. I just copy pasted, and then after I have copied the token, and Kubernetes cluster, just it will dummy cluster will you get, you will cluster will not get any network. Then after what I have done, there are multiple companies are available, that is ViewNet, Flannel, who provide us a plugin to enable that networking functionality for the Kubernetes cluster. So I have used Flannel. I have implemented the networking functionality for my cluster. Then my node status was came to ready. Okay. Once it's complete, I need to execute kubeadm join command. Right. Let it complete. Okay. I have already given you, right. Use this command. Then after switch to normal user if you are running as a root user and execute below command. We have done it. Then after run this command from worker node as root user to join into master. Okay. Kubeadm join. You know you should not copy this. Okay. You need to copy where you get. I copied. Then it is telling to give cryo socket here as well. Okay, simply add this cryo socket, then execute this. If you want to install Flannel, there is a command in your master. You need to execute this in the master node. So as a root user, run kubeadm join command. Yes, it's completed. Now I will copy this join command. Nothing but this join command will add as a worker to your master. That's it. Enter. Right, run kubectl get nodes on the control plane to see this node join the cluster. Okay, this is the master server. Okay, it is logged out, nothing will happen. I will log in again. Kubectl get nodes. Yes, control plane, and I have added 19 seconds ago a node. Ready. Yes, now it's ready, right? Now added as a node. If you want to add one more node, what you need to do? Try to create one more server, install that shell script, and blindly run this kubeadm join command. One more node will be added. Okay, adding node is not a concept today. Now I will open the slides. Okay, we need to discuss about Kubernetes objects. So everything in Kubernetes is an object. Okay, whatever you create in Kubernetes, that is called it as an object. To declare an object, we need to specify 4 fields. Okay, 4 fields. What is that 4 fields? API version, kind, metadata, spec. Okay, Kubernetes cluster will create an object and add an extra field called as status. So whenever you run this object, right, you will get a output. That output will call it as status. Right, that is API version, kind, metadata, spec. You will get a status. Okay, I will show you practically, don't worry. You need to know these concepts, then only you will understand. So what is this API version, kind, metadata, spec? Now I will explain what is this kind. Okay, what is this kind? Kind is type of object. What is metadata? Metadata describes some additional information about object. Kind is give you the what is a type. Metadata give you the information about your kind. Spec, this will define the state, desired state. What is desired state? You will understand. So to get all the API resources in your Kubernetes cluster, what is the command? kubectl API resources. Yesterday we have done, right? Imperative way, yesterday I have shown you, right? Imperative way nothing but whatever the commands you will run, right? Kubectl run, kubectl get pods, that will call it as imperative way. So pod lifecycle. Kubernetes pod will have following states. This is very important. In the interview, ask what are the states of pod, right? It is pending, running, succeeded, failed, unknown. These are the pod lifecycle, pod states. Okay, and in the pod also there is a restored policy as well. Always, never, on failure. In the pod there is inside the pod what will be running inside the pod, there is container will be running. In the container states will be there, waiting, running, terminated. So these all terms you will learn, don't worry. In pods we can specify container restored policy. Okay, writing Kubernetes manifest. The only workload which we know is pod. So pod has containers. Inside the pod you will be having a containers. So activity 1. Let me write a simple pod with one Nginx container. So if you see, I told you, right, API version, kind, metadata, spec. What is the version? You will give v1. What is the kind? It's a pod. Inside the metadata you will give the information about your pod. I have given a name called as hello pod for this pod. Inside the spec there is a containers, right? Inside the container you will give which image you want to use. So if you want to run a container, Docker container, obviously without image Docker container will not be created, right? I have given an image called as Nginx. My container name was Nginx container and my container runs on port 80. That's it, simple, right? I've shown you, I've told you, right, API version, kind, metadata, spec, these 4 are common. Now what I will do, I will open a Visual Studio Code. I will try to write this simple manifest file in front of you. So you should not by heart, you need to understand the concepts. Okay, it takes some time. Okay, now there is a Docker, right? Let me create a new folder called as Kubernetes. Okay, once the Kubernetes is created, inside the Kubernetes I will create pod. Inside the pod I will create a new file called as pod.yml. Okay, YAML syntax will start with 3 dashes. Okay, API version. I told you, right, 3 components in Kubernetes. Whatever you create, everything we'll call it as an object. You will define object 4 fields: API version, kind, metadata, spec. So what is the version? You will define. From where I got this information I will show you, don't worry. What is the kind? My kind was pod. Metadata, right, my name of the pod is hello pod. Inside the spec you will define containers. Just a moment. Okay, you will be having containers. So there is, sorry, there will be, sometimes we will do mistakes. Okay, containers, then after which image you want to take, right? Docker Hub, you can go and find Nginx, Nginx, and the version, which version you want to use, 1.0, like whatever version you want to use you can give, and what is the name of your container, right? ngcont, whatever name you want, and on which port this container is running, right? So there might be some issues. Let me check. Okay, ports. And under the name you need to give dash. So where you need to give dash, where you not should not give the dash, I will show you. Easily you will get. Okay. Ports, under ports there is a container port. Yes, am I right? P will be capital letters. As per Kubernetes, you should give P as a capital letters. EIT. Okay. Shall I copy this? Shall I create this? I am on the master, right? Whatever you do, you need to execute all things using master. Okay, don't do in the node, because in Kubernetes master, whatever you do, everything will be communication will happen with API server, right? If you do in the node, it will not work out. Everything will be done in the master, right? Manager, mkdir pod. I will go inside this pod folder. vi pod.yml. Today's focus was to create a pod. What is this pod? You will learn. Don't worry. Today's class agenda was to create some basic pods. Okay, kubectl get pods. No resources found. So I will apply this kubectl apply -f name, file name pod.yml. Hello pod created. Yes, kubectl get pods. Error image pull. Obviously, right? Real time error. Yes or no? Error image pull. Shall we see why it is failing? I done mistakes intentionally. I know it will fail. Describe pod. In the real time, if they ask what are the challenges you have faced in Kubernetes, right? Successfully assigned, error image pullback, pulling image, error response from daemon, error image pull. Okay, now observe this. What is the version I have given? 1.0. What is the version here? 1.23. Did I given the wrong name or not? Shall I give 1.23 now? Shall I copy this? Now I will edit. So by seeing these errors, you need to find out. If you are getting error image pull, nothing but you have written some wrong version. Now I will run this. If it is fail again, I will again troubleshoot. How you will troubleshoot? Describe that. Shall we apply? Right, kubectl get pods. Image pullback off. Yes, it's running, right? Now it's running or not? Shall I describe this pod again? Successfully pulled image, right? Created container, started container. Yes or no? Like this you need to troubleshoot whenever you get any. In real time, mostly if you are working in Kubernetes, right, you will get this type of errors. Sometimes error image pull, right? There will be multiple errors. What are the errors? This will be discussed during, there will be a separate session on Kubernetes real time. At that time, what are the errors you will get, I will show. Okay. Now you know, right, how to create a basic pod in the Kubernetes. Now I will go back to the slides. Okay, I have done the activity 1. It's your job to create this activity 2. Will you do that? Let's write a simple pod manifest to run Jenkins as well as Nginx container in one pod. I told you, right, in one pod you can run 2 containers. Simply what he has done, he has added one more image Jenkins and I given a name as Jenkins ports. Let me show you. Nothing. Okay, just copy this. Okay, if you want to run another container, paste in the place of image, take another Jenkins. I don't want to made mistake. Jenkins/Jenkins. Let me give the same correct name. Jenkins/Jenkins. Where you will get this image name? Docker Hub, right? JDK 11. Okay, my name was, let me give Jenkins. Jenkins run on 8080 port, yes or no? And one more thing, you can add this protocol TCP. That's it, right? Shall we run this? Now you know, right, how to write manifest file. You need to define 4 fields: API version, kind, metadata, spec. Inside the spec, your container information will be there. You will give image, name of that container, on which port it's run. I will come back, cd dot I will create mkdir Jenkins. Okay, cd Jenkins vi pod.yml, insert, paste, come out. What is the command to run this? kubectl apply -f file name. The pod allopad is invalid. Pod updates may not add or remove. Cat pod.yml. Okay. I given the same name, right? So now you got one idea, right? You cannot use same name for every pod. So let me try to edit this. Name, insert hello pod 1. Okay, I will apply again. It's created or not? Yes or no? So now you got one real-time issue. So you cannot give a same name for whatever objects you have created. Whatever you created in the Kubernetes, you cannot use the same name. If you give the same name, you will get an error. So in the interview, if they ask, can I able to create a pod with the same name? You need to tell, no, you cannot able to create. You need to have a name. So with same names, you cannot create pods. So shall we execute kubectl to see the list of pods? What is the command? Kubectl get pods. Okay. To see the brief description about your pod, -o wide. Nothing but it will show how many times it restarted. Okay. What is the age? Nothing but when it is created. What is the IP address? On which node it is running. Okay. Like this you will get the brief information, -o wide. You can use kubectl get pods, or in the short form you can execute kubectl get po as well. So how I know what this? I will execute kubectl API resources. So if you see, where is pods? Where is pod? Right, pod. What is the shortcut name? Short name PO. Yes, there is a persistent volumes. What is the short name? PV. So you no need to write full name. If you use shortcut, you will get. So Kubernetes given a short name so that you will not get waste your time. Okay, kubectl get name if you say there is namespace, right? Where is namespace? Namespaces, okay. NAMESPACES, namespaces. I'm getting this output. So what is the short form of namespaces? NS, right? Shall we do that? kubectl get NS. So still I'm getting the same output, right? You can use get namespaces or you can use get NS. Both are same. This is a short form, so that you will save your time. Okay, now I will come back to our slides. Activity 3. Write a Kubernetes pod manifest to run one container. Okay, here I have given image name as Alpine. I executed a command called as sleep 3600, and I have given image pullback policy if not present. What is the meaning this? Download this image, pull this image only if image is not present. If the image is not present, then only download this. If the image is present, ignore. So what is the restart policy? Always. Nothing but if this container fail, it will restart this. How many times it will restart? It will restart always. What is this restart policy? We will discuss. Don't worry. That is the task for you. Try to create that. If you want to see the pods, kubectl get pods. If you want to describe the pods, kubectl describe pod, which I already shown you. So if you want to see the in YAML form output, kubectl get pods, pod name -o YAML. I will show you that. If you want to delete the pod, kubectl delete -f. So what's next? Restart policy in pod. Okay, tomorrow I will show you what is this restart policy and all. Explain what is this restart policy. kubectl get pods. Okay, kubectl get pods -o YAML. Okay, if you execute YAML, you will get output in the YAML format. That's it. Okay, so you will learn all these things. Okay, I have told you, right? I will explain all these things little bit fast because we need to discuss multiple topics in Kubernetes. So my major focus will be on the practical part. Okay, I don't want to waste your time. Theory everyone will tell. Who will tell you real time? No one will tell you, right? kubectl get pods. So if I want to delete this, you need to know, right? ls. Same command, kubectl delete, you need to give. Apply for creating. Delete. What is the file name? -f pod.yml. Okay, deleted. I will execute kubectl get pods. Yes, hello pod 1 was deleted or not? Before that there is a hello pod 1 was running. Now it's deleted. So for every pod there will be a unique name. So you cannot able to give the same name for another pod. If you give you that name, it will not take. You have learned two things here. How to troubleshoot a pod, right? Try to practice this. I will update the recording. Okay, don't worry, I will update the recording. Practice it. You need to create the cluster, you need to run the pod, right? Now that's it for today. I will update the class notes as well. I will stop the recording.